Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Living Simply and Fun. I'm your host, Aries, and here is the other host, Aaron. And then down on the floor, we got host Moppy.
Although Moppy never says anything.
Yeah, he wants up now.
You want to come up here? Come on. No? Okay. So, anyways, we had ourselves a new taste today. We went ahead and tried these new things from Totino's. Mentioned earlier the jalapeno roll ones, the jalapeno popper ones, which were really good, but these actually were better. And
If I had to choose between the two, I would choose the bold buffalo chicken rolls over
it
the
definitely
jalapeno
is not
poppers.
as filled as the picture there, and I didn't see any corn whatsoever in it, which there is there. But
Sure, that's not chicken.
oh no, it's corn. There's no corn in it. But yeah, they were actually very, very, very good, and I'd highly recommend them. The other thing that I tried new today, because payday's coming up, I need to figure out my sides for the month. I tried the Knorr Pasta side stroganoff, and I'll tell you, it was pretty addictive. For $1, it's not bad.
That's what I was gonna say. For $1, you cannot complain about this.
It's actually better than Stouffer stroganoff, except for you don't get any of those little Swedish meatballs.
Now, I want to say, I had fish sticks again. I had fish sticks, mac and cheese. Again, I want to share this with you. This is exclusive only to Walmart. There's 4 flavors. Me and Aaron like this one, the nacho cheese, and the Parmesan.
And
The
we've
pizza
never
one
tried
sucked.
the original one because, well, it's just original, and the pizza one's terrible. So, there's our thoughts on that.
Yes, so today's total for my
About
meal was
$1.75.
$1.75. For his meal, $1.75.
Yeah, so we both were pretty cheap. Now, of course, the taste with the pizza rolls, that was $3.99 a bag, so
$2.
that's an extra $2, so $3.75 once we add it all up, which isn't bad at all. The pizza rolls are more just to give them a sample, you know. They weren't really part
More
of the
like
meal. but
addictive.
They ended up part of the meal. So, anyways, I guess we could get on to our talk about religion.
Yesterday
I don't
we were
quite
at
remember
Faith.
where we were going. We were talking about faith. Oh, I remember. I was going to talk about the differences in various different Bibles or whatever. Or something to that effect. Sorry, I'm not entirely with it today. Usually I'm a little more organized than I am, and we didn't think this one out very well beforehand, so bear with us.
We're,
we try to
winging it.
we wing every night. We don't really rehearse or have, what do you call it, a script. We just talk to you live, and don't read right now.
Sorry, my nephew, my cousin said something, but you're talking, so I was just saying.
So, anyways, when it comes to the different Bibles, most of them are pretty much the same. The wording's slightly different and stuff like that. Sorry, I got distracted by a neighbor screaming outside. It's real fun to have to hear that. But I can't think of anything that's really different with them. Shoot, I'm losing it here. Rita, would you please back me up just a little bit?
We're talking about Bibles, basically, and the various different Bibles. Each Bible is kind of different, so as Aaron said, we have to choose like different ones. For example, there's many versions of the Greek scriptures, Greek interlinear scriptures, for example. Each one's worded differently, or you can get one that's Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, or Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and other languages. The thing is it says things differently. Now, he says, back him up, well, each Bible's different. You got the Wycliffe Bible, which no one can read because it's mostly in Old English, the Old Tongue, or Middle English. You got the Matthew Bible, which is made by John Rogers, also going by the name of Thomas Matthew, which was also an alias for his own family member, William Tyndale, who wrote the Tyndale Bible. Tyndale tried translating it.
Very distant relative, which is kind of interesting because one of my friends growing up was his relative was partially responsible for having William Tyndale put to death. So it's kind of interesting that we grew up as best friends. Yeah, that now reminds me of where I wanted to go with this whole thing. I just remembered a vague aspect of it. The King James Bible. Some people say it's the only Bible. It's the only, the real Bible. It's the most accurate Bible.
I'm hitting something real quick. So
I'm one who does not believe that. For one, King James, what was he? Right there at the very beginning it says King.
Authorized King James Version. But like I said, the first handwritten English language Bible was John Wycliffe, which, by the way, 100 years later, Pope dug him up and basically burned his bones because the Pope was pissed off that John Wycliffe wanted Americans to have the first English Bible.
So, as I was trying to say before she changed the direction totally, was King James. He was, by definition, a king. And when we think of kings, we oftentimes think of an authoritarian figure that his word is law, right? He is supreme ruler in his country, and nobody else can say anything or do anything against him. And many of them were tyrannical, including probably King James himself. More than likely, if you wrote something down that he did not like, it was off with your head. In fact, it was known that there were several different writers of the King James Bible, and more than likely, some of them were put to death during the process. However, he still did do a good thing in trying to make sure that the Word of God got to all the people of England. Now, another thing I'd like to bring up here on the King James Bible, too, is there are older translations that were closer to the time frame. What was it? The first Bible. I can't remember the name of it now. Rita?
First Bible was Wycliffe for English. Oh, you mean you're talking about the Latin Vulgate?
Yes, the Vulgate. That's the word I thought I was thinking, but I couldn't remember. The Vulgate Bible is one of the oldest, and its translation, even though it's not in English, translating it from the Latin, it does not fit up very well with the King James at all.
Let me just put it to you this way. The Latin Vulgate is the Codex Vaticanum, which is what the Vatican has in their vaults. And somehow there's two codex. You got the Vatican and
what I was trying to say is the Vulgate was written much earlier when those languages were much better known. The Bible was written in the Aramaic and the Greek. And they weren't written in modern Greek, and they weren't written in modern Aramaic. And some of the words, they've changed meaning, they've lost their meaning. And we have to have historians go back and try to figure out the meanings. And oftentimes, they don't figure out the meanings proper, or the meanings have subtle differences in them, and it can mean one thing or another. And they pick one for whatever they think suits them best. We see all sorts of places where things have been added where if you look at the original sentence, it doesn't seem like it means that at all. One of those being about how a man shouldn't lie with another man like a man should lie with a woman. That was Corinthians, was it? Or
no, that was Romans 1:29.
In the original scripture, the translation doesn't even come close to saying anything about what would sound homosexual at all. In fact, there was nothing that I have found in reading the old translations that even comes close to saying that.
Yeah, it's Romans 1.
Yeah, you don't need to quote it.
No, I know it's Romans, but let me put it to this one. It says, "For God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also men leaving the natural use of women burned in their lust one towards another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and perceived in themselves the recompense of the error in which was meet. However,
I do wish I could remember the wording of the original
hold on,
scripture,
excuse me.
so that I could actually give you that, but that entire section seems to be totally made up. Sorry, your Greek interlinear is not going to help here.
The Greek interlinear says something similar but doesn't. It says pretty much, because it's basically, I've looked into it, this is closer to
Yes.
the scriptures, but it says 120, here it says, let's see, Romans, this is 2, I don't want to, these pages are like, each chapter is like 4 or 5 pages, because, okay, it says, through this gave beside the God and the passions of dishonor, and for females of them exchanged the natural use into the one besides nature. Likewise also the males, having let go of the natural use of the female, was burned out in the lust of them into one another, males and males. The indecency working down, and the return reward which it was necessary of the error of them, and them receiving back from. So it's the same thing, it's but different language.
Yeah. So I might be wrong on that one in particular, but because, as I said, I don't have all my facts written down in front of me. I know what I've read in the past, and I know what I believe, and I don't think God can hate anyone. I don't think God is going to damn somebody unless they damn themselves, essentially. By that I mean doing disgusting, horrible crimes against mankind, hating one another, and treading upon others, using people to get their own gain, murdering and killing, stabbing, raping, whatever. All those things I think are things that would probably be considered unforgivable, but naivety or just expressing your own inward feelings, I don't think God's going to damn somebody for.
It's not in the Bible. Paul basically was a Pharisee. Paul basically said,
Jesus said, beware the Pharisees, and Paul was a Pharisee, and most of the New Testament is accredited to Paul. I think 17 out of 26 or some chapters.
17 books, I believe, out of like 11 books are something like that.
11 out of
Paul.
17 or 17 out of
something
20,
like that. But anyways, the other thing I want to say, he's talking about the King James Bible. King James used not just the Wycliffe, he also used the Tyndale Bible, which, as you know, William Tyndale didn't get it completed, but what he did. He used the Miles Coverdale Bible. He also used John Rogers' Thomas Matthews Bible. Why? Because he used all these different Bibles to compile his own, and he also hired 54 of the scholars reading Greek, Latin, Aramaic, and Hebrew. Yeah, just to get it done. So basically, all these people say, "Oh well, this one's better." But here's the thing: when Coverdale was almost ended, they also had something else. They had the Bishop's Bible, which didn't do too well, and they had the King James Bible later. But the one that really took effect was the Geneva Bible. And the Geneva Bible, they even took that one. They wanted to make a Bible that basically would sell so hotcakes. And by the way, Aaron knows this, I know this, you can look up your facts if you wish. The royal family of England still holds the copyright for the Bible.
Yeah, which I think is terribly wrong. But, of course, because the king had it written into modern language and had the first ones produced pretty much for the public,
and just to
they own the copyright for
just to let you know, before 1560, no Bibles had any numbered verses or chapters in the 80 books. That's all I gotta say. Everything else after that had verses.
Well, we're running out of time.
Yes, so look for Bible or Religion Part 5 tomorrow.
We'll talk some more about religion tomorrow. I don't want to focus just on Christianity and all this.
Yes.
Today was a fairly Christian-based talk on the Bible, and some of the differences between them, but that could be found interesting to anyone pretty much, and there is nothing here trying to convert anyone either.
Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. And please add us as a friend if you like. Thank you and have a nice day.